Hey everybody, and welcome to Valley Happenings. I'm Suzie Wiley, and like always, thank you for tuning in. We have a great show, so I'm not even going to babble anymore. We're just going to get started because I have wonderful friends with me, people that I've known for many, many years. And all of you know that I absolutely love and go to the performances of Bank Street Players. And for a amateur community theater, this is about as professional as you can get. And with us today is Susan Thompson, a friend of mine for over 2 decades, and another friend of mine, Chuck Puckett, who's been a friend of mine for over 2 decades. Wow! And you've got different clothes on and different costumes on. You've come from a different period of time.
That is correct.
And the Bank Street Players are going to do an absolutely fabulous performance, and it's a play called Fiddler on the Roof. And why did you guys? I mean, it's one of. I could write a book on it because of what is all portrayed and what is
absolutely.
The meaning of this play. So why did Bank Street pick this for your summer music hall?
Well, to be perfectly honest, truth in lending here, this was not the first choice. The first choice was Sound of Music, which we had picked actually last year.
Okay.
And then advertised it in all of our programs. Well, when the time came, and that's a great show, by the way.
Oh, yeah, fabulous.
And when the time came, it became, when we went to get the rights for the show is in revival right now on Broadway and touring. So they would not give the rights. And so we had to scramble for a living. Let's scramble around and find something else to do. And this actually was one of the first things that came to people's mind. And almost as soon as it came to mind, it was a fait accompli. This is, of course, why didn't we think of this? This is a great show.
And Chuck has been waiting 30 years to play the lead part of Tevye.
Well, yes.
And he's big for it. If you go and check out Fiddler on the Roof and listen to the songs and listen to everything on the internet about it, there's only one person that could play that here in Alabama.
Well, I don't know about that, but now that's very kind of you to say. But of course, what we have had over the years, Zero Mostel, fabulous actor, was the fellow who initiated the role on Broadway. Yeah. And more recently was Molina. I can't think of his name. Anyway, there was another, and there's been a fairly recently revival. But I think most people probably, because it's a movie, remember Topol as Tevye, and that's where I think in our our imaginations and our memories, that's who we think of.
And everybody, the Bank Street Players, it's costumes, it's music, it's sets. It isn't you're going to a theater and you can see the authentic costumes you have on. and this takes place, in what year would you say?
I would say it exactly. It was in 1905.
1905.
And by the way, and it resonates very much with what's happening today in the sense of geographically. It's people think of it as in Russia, which is true, but it's actually in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And it's nearby cities. We're in this little village of Anitevka. And nearby cities are Kiev and Odessa, and we know these cities now because so much is happening in that part of the world. And it's 1905. It's 9 years before the Great War.
And you're a milkman.
I'm a milkman, a dairyman, yes.
Okay, now a
and
milkman.
This is Golda, my wife.
Yes, and Susan plays Golda, the wife, and you have 5 daughters.
Yes, 5 daughters.
And the job of a milkman at that time is you got to marry your 5 daughters off.
Well, that's true. That's right.
Is that not the job? I mean, that's part of a parent's responsibility, I think, at that time. Did you have, and is it a fixed marriage, meaning you're going to marry that guy, you're marrying this guy?
The marriages are arranged
by
the papa. And in this case...
And a matchmaker.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And that's who Golda talks to and makes the match that not the one that they marry.
Right, but the
one that they intend for her to marry is a rich fellow named Letzer Wolf, and that's great for us because we're poor, dirt poor. And that would be a great match.
Yes.
But it turns out our daughters, all of them, have other ideas.
Okay, but back at that time in 205 and 1800, the daughter didn't have much of a choice.
Not
Your
at all.
daughters are rebelling against you.
That is the whole point. As a matter of fact, this show starts off with another tremendous song that's not as famous, but everybody
it's
remembers,
fabulous.
which is Tradition. And they put that song in after they had developed the show because they wanted to show that the point of what was happening here was that these traditions that were so steeped in these people then became one by one to be broken and torn apart because of the times they were living. They were living in a time, this is 9 years before the Great War, World War I. It was 12 years before the Russian Revolution and the Communist Party taking over and the Tsar being killed and all that stuff. So they were just on the cusp of tremendous changes in the world. But in the little village of Anatevka, they don't know that.
Right, you're in Europe. Now, Susan, when you're talking with the matchmaker, and there's a Jewish name for the matchmaker.
Yenta.
Yenta. Okay, Yenta. And she is assigned, or she just deems herself the matchmaker?
That's like her job. That's what she does.
Sure.
So is she like the neighborhood gossip?
Yes.
And that.
Yes, yes, exactly.
The word Yenta also means a gossip.
Yes.
Okay, so she's deemed this, and she's going to say, okay, Golda, I have this wonderful boy. He's a butcher, and he's going to marry your
My
first
oldest,
daughter.
Yes, my oldest.
Now,
son.
what if you say, no, I don't pick that?
Well, actually, she has some reservations when Yenta comes to Golda at first and says, oh, Laser Wolf, he's a widower, but he has his eye set on your Zeitel, your oldest. Well, Golda's excited about that because he is wealthy and he will provide for her oldest, but her concern is that Tevye wants someone that's smart, and he doesn't really like Laser very much.
He's a butcher.
Yeah, he's a butcher. And but Yenta says, oh, well, let Laser talk to Tevye, and he'll work things out with him, but he's a perfect match for Zeitel.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that I think Golda sees a better life for her daughter because they are very, very poor.
Oh, absolutely.
And they have no dowry. And so she sees a better life for Zeitel, and it's not that, I mean, they have an arranged marriage.
Right.
They have a wonderful song that Tevye and Golda sing when he asks Golda, when he has his daughter saying, look,
I'm
Papa,
marrying whoever I want to. I'm ignoring the
yes,
traditions.
I don't want to marry who Yenta is setting me up to marry. I want to marry this boy that I actually love. And all of a sudden, Tevye goes to Golda and says, do you love me? Because their marriage was
25
arranged.
years.
Right.
That we've never said it.
They've never acknowledged, because...
Oh, they never acknowledged that it was set up. It was just the way it was.
That-
It was
yes.
tradition.
It was
so
tradition.
for 25 years,
Right.
they've lived together, and as they say in the song, we fought, we've starved,
Raised children,
we've
starved,
raised children, we've milked the cows and cleaned the house.
After 25
You know,
years, why talk about love right now?
Yeah.
So, beautiful, beautiful song.
So you get, and one thing about the Fiddler on the Roof too, there are so many songs that you will recognize. I mean, it's song after song after song.
we were just
You
talking
will-
about what? Matchmaker? There you go. Right.
But Chuck is going to sing Rich Man.
Well, yes. Sing-ish.
Sing-ish. He's going to sing-ish it. But again, it's a play, and it is, give the dates. I'm sorry, the poster was up and I didn't.
July 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Okay,
At
so
7
that's a
p.m.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 o'clock.
And then a
Princess-
2 o'clock matinee on the
On
Saturday.
Okay, so there's 4 performances.
4 performances.
And they've been working for like a long time.
We have, and we've got a ways to go. And by the way, I got to tell you, this show has
How many
almost
people?
70 people
70.
on the stage, dancing and singing, and the choreography is also quite. It's being directed by Lauren Cantrell Salerno.
Oh, okay.
Most people
Jimmy
remember
Cantrell's
exactly
daughter.
right. I always throw the Cantrell in because
And that's music. When you say Cantrell, that's a music
you say
family.
music, and she is such a talented actress and director, just
Yes.
amazing.
And
amazing.
Jimmy Cantrell Cantrell was the music director at First United Methodist.
He was indeed.
He was
for
a
30
really,
years,
really
right.
fine, nice
And
man.
at Calhoun and
Oh, right,
High
right,
School.
right,
Sure,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But I just knew him from
Right.
the church.
Right.
And Susan is retired now from teaching at Austin High School in
Drama. Teaching drama.
and teaching
Yeah.
drama.
Just to point out.
And now you're going to take on Dream Weavers, which is for children. And you'll hear about it. And there'll be children's plays, which is real wonderful. It introduces those children to the theater and acting. And all of you know that I have it on my bucket list that I want to be in one of the plays. And they think they have a part for me. You know, I can try out. Okay. And then get rejected. I'll be in the background. That's a walk on. Whatever. But I think it's fun. I think the theater is fun. You'll be at the Princess Theater. The tickets are what, $20?
They're $18 and $15. Is that
15.
$18
Oh, 18 and 15.
15 for seniors and students, and then $18 for the rest of us.
And you can go online, pick your tickets. There,
It's reserved seating, right?
It is reserved
Oh,
seating.
it is reserved.
And you can go in and see exactly where you want to sit. Go ahead and pick them now.
It's absolutely.
Yeah.
Please,
And-
go ahead and pick them now.
And the money they make on this just goes to help pay for the next one. It's a
Right.
not-for-profit. It's a community theater. There are people all over that come and try out for this. And
We've got, that's a good point. We have people in this show from Madison, from Hartselle, from over in Lawrence County.
everywhere.
Meridianville.
Meridianville. Yeah, they've come
and
from
they're
all over.
devoted because they've been practicing and practicing
Right.
night and day and Saturdays and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break and we're going to get Chuck all set up so he can sing his song, and I think you'll enjoy it. And it's a musical. The Fiddler on the Roof is a musical, and one thing that you'll get when you come to the Fiddler on the Roof, you'll find out what that means, Fiddler on the Roof.
Absolutely. Right.
And that is tells the whole story, I think, don't you?
It certainly begins the story and ends the story.
Begins and ends the
And we
story.
do have a fiddler.
Yes,
Yes.
on the roof.
Yes.
Alrighty. We're
Sounds
gonna
crazy, no?
Okay, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Well, welcome back, everybody, and we're just having a grand time, and I hope you enjoyed our satellite interview. But right now, we're bragging on the Bank Street Players and their performance of Fiddler on the Roof, which is July 20th, 21, and 22, and on Saturday there's a matinee at 2 o'clock. Well, right now we have Chuck Puckett, my dear friend, who is playing Tevye, the lead role of Fiddler on the Roof, and he is going to sing Rich Man right now. So take it.
If you don't mind, yeah. The thing you must know about Tevye, one thing is that he talks to God just like you would talk to your best friend. And at the beginning of this song, he's having a little conversation with God, who he's a little put out with. And he says, I know you made many poor people. Of course, it is no shame to be poor, but it's no great honor either. So, what would have been so terrible if I had a small fortune? If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a bitty-bitty rich diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle man, I'd build a great big house with the rooms by the dozen right in the middle of the town. A fine tin roof and a real wooden floor below. There would be one long staircase just going up and one even longer coming down, and one more leading nowhere just for show. I'd fill my yard with chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks for the town to see and hear, squawking just as noisily as they can. And each loud quack and the quack and the gobble and the honk would fall like a trumpet on the ear, as if to who say here lives a wealthy man. If I were a rich man, yabba divvy, yabba divvy, yabba divvy divvy do. All day long I'd biddy biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Yabba divvy, yabba dee digga diddle diddle dum. If I were a bitty bitty rich diddle deedle diddle diddle man, I'd see my wife, my gold, looking like a rich man's wife with a proper double chin, supervising the meals to her heart's delight. I'd see her putting on airs and strutting like a peacock. Oh, what a happy mood she's in, screaming at the servants day and night. The most important men in town would come to fawn on me, asking me to advise them like a Solomon the wise. Pardon me, Rebetevia, if you please, Rebetevia, posing problems that would cross a rabbi's eyes. And it won't make one bit of difference if I answer right or wrong. When you're rich, they think you really know. If I were rich, I'd have the time that I lack to sit in the synagogue and pray. Maybe have a seat by the eastern wall. And I'd discuss the holy books with the learned men 7 hours every day. And that would be the sweetest thing of all. If I were a rich man, yabba digga digga diddle digga diddle diddle dum. All day long I'd biddy biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Yagga diddle digga diddle digga diddle diddle dum. Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were a wealthy man?
Wonderful. Is that somebody that likes their part?
Absolutely.
Is that somebody who that's Chuck Puckett and he loves being Tevye? And he's getting his mic on now. But Susan Thompson, he's made for that role.
Yes, he is.
You love it. You love it.
I love it.
It's coming out. And everybody, the play will be the 20th, 21st, and 22nd at the Princess Theater. $18 and $15. Yes. What a deal.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Okay, but costumes. Oh
my God.
Sets.
We have to say, Paulette Morgan is our costume mistress, who has just done an unbelievable job. She is indefatigable.
Look at this. I mean, did she make this?
Yes.
Or in your skirt? Everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's...
And she is costuming for 70 people, so
Yes.
think about that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have when the beginning of the play, when you sing tradition,
yes.
the characters, all the characters in the play have a part. The women have a part, the daughters have a part, the sons, and they talk about their purpose, their tradition, and what they are to do.
And Susan Kirkus is our choreographer too, and
fantastic.
she has done amazing things with our cast, with all 70 members of our cast, and
who bring varying levels of quote-unquote danceability, but she's managed to take all of those and weld them into a unit.
to help tell the story.
Yes.
And Bank Street Players, everybody is a group of people who love theater.
Absolutely.
And want to perform. And this is this is good. This is very, very good. It's professional. It's, you know, you're amateurs, but what do you call
We
it?
just don't get paid. That's the way we
That's
look
right.
at it.
They don't make any money.
We don't
This
get
is all
paid, but
volunteer.
we feel everything that we do. We try to make it as professional. We bring that attitude to everything that
Right.
we do. And the thing that about this play, and in particular, is that it has the power to move and touch people and to make them laugh and so forth.
Right.
But this play will, if it doesn't touch your heart, we have done something wrong, and I think it will.
And the play has been going on for how many decades?
Well, it came out in 1971 when it won the Tony. It was the Tony for best musical that year.
And many other things it won.
Oh.
I mean, other things other than the Tony that year, right?
Oh yes, well
I mean,
certainly. I
just
mean,
won zillions of
I
things.
know the choreography
Yeah.
was there. No question
Okay,
about it.
now, and we're talking about Dreamweavers, and that's children's theater. And you're going to do Charlotte's Web in November.
Yes.
And we're going to hear more about when auditions are.
Yes.
And how many children do you need in that play?
Oh gosh, we are right now in the preliminary stages, but I would, gosh, I don't even know,
Okay.
25
Whoa.
maybe. I mean, we're not even really sure.
And this will be at the Princess Theater
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Okay, and then do you want to say what your next
If
season?
you don't mind, we've decided on Bank Street's next season, and we will announce it on our website fairly soon. But here you go, advance information. So in the fall, we're doing a radio play at the Princess. We're doing a War of the Worlds, as
my goodness.
Mercury Theater did it, as a radio drama with microphones and actors up there.
Oh, how cool.
And that'll be at Halloween, perfectly suited.
Oh.
Then in January, we're doing Dinner with Friends.
That's
which
your
is a
small dinner theater.
cast, intimate play. And we kind of think of that as our avant-garde slot, and in this case,
wonderful.
it will be that way. Then in the spring, and this location is not yet determined, we'll see if it's al fresco or not. As You Like It, we're doing Shakespeare
Oh, my
again.
goodness.
And then we'll finish the season next summer with Hairspray, which is fantastically. Now, I have to also mention we're doing a season extra, which we're doing the weekend of December the 5th at the Princess. It's a musical version of A Christmas Carol called Humbug. I will have to make a small plug here and say that I wrote it. This will be the world premiere of this show. And I hope you'll come and see that. I hope you'll come see all of them, of course.
And they're wonderful. I mean, they're wonderful. And you were going through the play Hairspray. My very favorite song is Good Morning Baltimore.
Yes,
That's my
yes.
I love that song. You
yeah.
can sing that every morning and just get all psyched
Well,
up.
John Waters created a thing there, and then just
And
it just
Hairspray
took
is
off,
another really a play that has a really important message, but it's fun and it was great. Maybe there's a part in there for me too. Oh,
think
my
about
goodness.
it. There you go.
There you go.
I'm going to
There
get
you
a
go.
part somewhere. But again, it's wonderful. You guys are wonderful.
Well, thank you.
I'm excited. So please, you hear more. Go on their website, Bank Street Players. I'm so proud.
And Dreamweavers will be having a launch for Dreamweavers coming up
Yep.
at the end of the summer, and we'll be having a website also.
Yeah.
And we've got a show coming up in January. We're not 100% sure. It
Okay.
will be a junior musical, probably. And then we're doing a patriotic show called American Made at the end of June. So
They're putting the schedule together.
I know we're putting our schedules together so that we've got something going all the time.
time.
But not
dinner
completely.
We're very
It's
excited
right
about the
there.
re-emergence of Dreamweavers
Yeah.
because we've been missing children's theater for so many
Yes.
years now.
Yes,
it needs,
years,
it needs
decades.
to exist. That's right.
Almost a couple decades now
It's
since
been
it's
10
been
years.
gone.
It's been 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
you know
Thank
I'll
you.
be there. Everybody, we're going to take a break, and we will be right back.
Mazel tov!